Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I'm an author, speaker, and success coach who helps women believe in themselves, build confidence, and take action. In 2009, my husband Ryan and I were laid off at the same time, and we moved to the Florida Keys without jobs, not knowing anyone, hardly any money, and we never even been here. But we made it. And now, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but we're living our best lives. All along in our journey, I've always said that someday when we get our shit together, we will help others. So each week, my intent is to be relatable and bring you tactical tips, tools, share my learnings and stories that can help inspire or transform you wherever you are in your career or general life and make an impact. I strongly believe that if I can do it, you can do it too. So what's stopping you? Hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, and thank you for joining me. Real quick before we get started, if you have not checked out Creating Confident Content, please do. I would love to hear from you. This podcast is created for anyone who is a small business owner, online entrepreneur, coach, network marketer, speaker, anyone that has to create content, which for the most part, majority of people, at least that listen to podcasts, all of us do. So it's kind of a crazy world, and content creation is not going away. So in my podcasts, in the new lead magnet tip sheet that is on both of my websites, it is 5 tips for creating content to drive your business forward towards success. If you are ready to level up or at least start, these tips are for you. So check them out. Now, onto the podcast. Wow. This one is a really incredible story. And this is a story share. And it's a story share with a major message and major tip. And that is, are you asking for help? Are you asking the divine, the universe, your spirit team, God, love, whatever you want to call it, right? The metaphysical. Are you asking for help? And this kept coming to me as a topic because I have been amazed at the amount of people that either are spiritual teachers or say they are very spiritual that do not ask the divine for help. And they're trying to handle a situation as a human, in the human world, whether that's, Western medicine or, someone has an ailment or can't sleep or needs help with a mechanical issue, which is our world, like a lot. So many things, right? We all have so many challenges in our lives. With relationships, if I feel like Ryan's been in a funk, I will ask my team to help his team. I literally do that. I'm not joking. And it works. All the things. I ask for help all the time. And again, I'm consistently amazed at how many people that say they are spiritual teachers or they are very spiritual do not do this. So this is for you. And I'm being very bold in this. Why don't you? I'm going to guess or use my intuition is that you forget, right? We're all have this wiring as humans that we need to retrain. We need to retrain our brains. We need to rewire ourselves. We need to learn how to think differently on so many levels. And this is one of those aspects because you actually have to stop what you're doing and remember to ask. You stop. And you remember to ask. So I do it with Ryan all the time. Like the list is endless. I could probably write a whole book or maybe 2 books of just examples of how this has magically worked for us over the years and since we've made it a practice. So again, this topic kept coming to me. I would have a conversation with someone and they'd be like, no, I don't feel it. I don't want to call a psychic or, whatever, right? Because heck, call a psychic too, like call a medium. Like there's so many amazingly talented, spiritually gifted people out there too that can help, right? They can channel, they can talk to your team, they can use their intuition to help you. So it's not just even praying and waiting. Sometimes it's picking up the phone and booking a call with somebody, right? So, anyhow, so I just kept getting this slapped in the face. So what happened last Monday, and I kid you not, this story is insane. I was telling Ryan that this was going to be a topic for a podcast, and he was like, oh, this is a really good topic. We were having a conversation. And I went to go on my morning walk, which if you follow me, you know I take a walk every day that I can. And I normally go now at about 5 a.m., but if the sun is coming up, I still go. It's just trying to get it done, and I like walking in the dark. So this morning that I was going, it was 5 a.m., so it was dark. And I was walking, and if you know also anything about the Keys, there is one road in and one road out. It's literally one road. It's called US 1. So we live on the Bayside, and I have to walk across US 1 to the ocean side where the sidewalk is. And then I walk up and down the canal streets that are along my path. And I either walk north or south, just depending on the pattern of the rain. So I try to judge that if I can see the clouds. If not, I normally walk north. If there's clouds, or if I have to wait till the sun comes up to see the clouds, like if it's going to rain, then I'll walk south. Anywho, so I'm walking north, my normal path, and I see this black thing, like walking on the road, like right by the road. And at 5 a.m. on US 1, you have big trucks flying down the road trying to get out of the Keys or trying to get to Key West, mostly from the grocery stores. You also have people coming in or leaving the Keys with their boats, so they're trying to get to their destination very quickly. And then sometimes you got drunk drivers too, right? So it's kind of, you got to look around. You got to pay attention to the cars and the trucks. So I see this black thing walking on the road, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? It's not a raccoon. And it's dark. Like there's no street lights. So you get a little bit of light from stars. It was not a full moon, so you can get some starlight, which is beautiful. So many beautiful stars. Or you get like a little bit of light from the houses. But for the most part, it is very dark. So I see this black thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So then it starts running up to me. And I see that it's a dog. And it's a dog that looks like a King Charles, but it's black. So it's that body size. And I have been bit by dogs before, and it is not a pleasant experience. So I highly recommend for people not to touch a dog because they're an animal. They can still bite you. So I was a little nervous, but the dog's energy is what I could feel. The dog was freaked out, and I could just feel its energy. And I was like, oh, where do you live? I've walked these streets for almost 9 years, and I've never seen you. So I tried to fiddle with my phone to get the flashlight to work because, again, it's really dark, and I'm not near any light. And I could see, just because it was silver, that the dog did have a tag. So I'm like, okay, at least you got a tag. Let me try to get my flashlight to work. Okay, that wasn't working. So after a minute, I stopped. And the dog was right by me. And I said, in my loud Melinda voice, dear God, universe, spirit guides, anyone, any angels, and I was like Michael and Gabriel and Uriel and Raphael, like any angel names that came to my head, please help me bring this dog back home and get this dog home safely. Please help me. Please help me. So I just started asking out loud for help. Because honestly, I couldn't find the flashlight on my phone. I couldn't see the dog's tag, and I didn't want to touch the dog yet because, I don't know, I didn't feel like getting bit, but I wanted to desperately help this dog. So I stopped my humanness and asked out loud for the divine to step in and help. I'm not kidding. Within, I don't know, now the timing's just going to be weird, but I'm just going to make up like how I feel the timing was. Maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds. The dog started heading north on US 1, on the sidewalk though. And we walked by one canal street, didn't turn down. Another canal, and I just been following the dog because I'm like making sure this dog is not going to get hit by a truck. Another canal street, walked by. The third canal street, the dog turned right. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. I'm taking this as a really good sign. I'm taking this that the dog is leading me to its house and we're going to get there. So I'm following the dog still. Follow dog. And these canal streets, I would say, are about 3 city blocks long. So they're kind of long streets, 2.5 maybe, but let's just say 3 for argument's sake. And the dog keeps trotting down this street. And I'm like, okay, I'm just following the dog. Like I'm actually like trusting, believing, knowing all the things that the dog is leading me to its house. So we get almost down the street, and on the right side of the street is a house I walk by, like I said, almost every morning if I end up walking north. And the dog literally walked in through the gate that was open just this little bit much that it could get its body in. Because remember, it's the size of a King Charles, so it's a nice medium-sized dog. It's not super tiny like a teacup or something. And walked into the gate and then walked back out of the gate and came back over to me. So it was like showing me what the challenge was, right? Like how this dog escaped. And then the dog rolled over so I could easily get its collar and put itself like in a rollover and pet me on my back type of thing, but held its neck up like, here, look at my collar. Like I'm actually making this movement now as I make this podcast, but there's no video. And I was like, okay, I feel like the dog's not going to bite me. Like it knows that I can look at its tag. So I take the tag. And again, I can't get the freaking flashlight on my phone to work. But at least there's enough light from just having, my phone on that I can see the number. And I am so not good with memorizing numbers. It is just not my skill set. And I'm like, oh, please God, help me remember this number enough that I can call the number and not like call the wrong number. Because again, it's like 5:30 in the morning. And I call the number and it sounds like a very nice girl and it's her voicemail. So I leave her a message and I'm like, hey, I found your dog on US 1. It's a super nice dog. Looks like you have a gap in your gate. So I'm going to close your gate for you and put your dog back in the gate. But I do believe this is likely your dog because it knew where to go. And I hope you get your dog safely and just know that you need to probably push the gate closer. So then the dog gets up, goes back into the gate, and I push the gate closed, which now it cannot get through. It was just open like a little bit much. And I'm like, all right, that was amazing. That was, if you don't believe that you can ask for help and miracles can happen, like I really don't even know what more of a story like I can share with you from this, like me having this conversation with my husband saying I need to do a podcast. It keeps hitting me in the face that I need to do a podcast about this. And then having something that same morning, literally like an hour later, happen that I then asked for help and the dog took me right to its house. Now, mind you, we walked by other streets. We didn't get lost. I've never seen the dog before in all my years of walking up and down the street. So it's not like one I've seen for years. And went in the gate, back out of the gate, came over. Here, look at my tag. Like unbelievable. Unbelievable. So the nice owner called me about an hour later. She was like, oh my gosh, that is my dog. She called me an angel. I said, oh no, I'm not the angel. I just knew to ask the angels. So, but you can thank the angels because I wasn't the angel. I'm just the vessel. And she was super nice. And she said, yeah, they didn't put the pin in the gate last night. They had not put the pin in the gate. So hence why that gate was just open that little bit much. The dog could scoot its cute butt out and go out onto the road. So anyhow, so next time, I am so grateful because that dog was so sweet. And if you've ever seen dead animal by the side of the road, especially when you know it's somebody's pet. Oh, it's just heartbreaking. So I was like, please make sure this dog gets home to its owner, because I just couldn't imagine if I left it and then went to run an errand later and saw it, by the side of the road. I would just been crushed as a person. So I myself am grateful too, because it was just a very sweet dog, and I'm glad it's good. So, but my purpose in sharing this story with you is the obvious. It's the obvious. Next time you are in a predicament, you need some help. Whatever it is, I'm not kidding you. Whatever it is, stop your humanness. Stop it and ask for help. Ask for help. And then email me and tell me your story. I'd love to hear it. And if you'd love to come on this podcast and share it, I would love to have you. So I will put all my information in the show notes. If you are ready for private one-on-one coaching, I would love to work with you. I infuse spirituality and all the tips I can ever think of or know or have experienced to help others. And it lights me up. It makes me so happy. And I'm so grateful every day that I am able to share all these crazy ass experiences with anyone out there that's listening. So until next week, be grateful, be curious, always be learning, and you know what? Have some fun too. Thanks for listening.